Joined by Lisa Thibodeau of Construction Experts Inc. And I'm going to start out by presenting some of the beginning slides, and then Lisa will talk more extensively about the Construction Professionals Program that's delivered by her company, Construction Experts Inc. All right, so just to begin, this first slide just says that we're going to be recording this session, and that means that this is going to be recorded and used by the university. Typically what we do is we take this recording and we put it on our website for people that couldn't be with us today for whatever reason, so that they can get the information later on. Now when I'm answering your questions, or when Lisa and I are answering your questions, I'll refer to your first name, but not your full name, just so you know I'm addressing you and your question. And you can pop questions either in the chat or the Q&A option, since this is a webinar. So just to start out, and Lisa, I want to invite you just to chime in anytime you want. Why enroll in the construction professional program? And I just want to say that construction is one of the fastest growing industries in California. And through Construction Experts Inc., our third party provider, you're able to learn from industry experts, seasoned, experienced professionals in the field. And our instructors are constructional professionals with decades of specialized experience in estimating, building, civil site work, supervision, and project management. And, by working with these professionals, you're part of a community that offers mentoring and support to you as you progress in this field. We offer 4 comprehensive certificate programs that, as I mentioned, Lisa will go into in detail. And this is an opportunity for you to gain a solid foundation in the field of construction. And all of our classes are offered online. So, especially in this time of COVID, this is a really good time while many of us are still continuing to work from home, or have some opportunities to be at home, to study in this field. And Lisa, was there anything you wanted to add to this?
We've done a lot of research to see the other types of programs that are out there. And I can tell you one of the things, and possibly the most meaningful thing that you might get from this program, is the support and the sense of community. Our instructors truly care about you and about getting you to the next step. And you'll see that in their introductions. You'll hear that in how they manage their classrooms and how they provide feedback. And that's really, really unique. There's other programs that you just kind of click your way through. But with these programs, our instructors are connected on LinkedIn. They're very much in your corner and there to support your growth. So it's a very wonderful and strong community that's developed over the 10 weeks of class.
Great. So let's talk about the time and the cost. The fee per course is $576 per class. And the textbooks that are required for these classes are somewhere between $100 and $150 per class. Now, all classes are online and are 10 weeks long, as Lisa mentioned. And that's the equivalent of 4.5 continuing education units each. If you have a job, for instance, that requires your continuing education, that's rather important. And we ask that you complete all of this program, or all of these classes, within 3 years in order to earn your certificate in one of our construction professional certificate programs. Now, Lisa's going to go into detail about the construction professional certificates now, but you can also, let's see, on this page, we have a link to the textbooks. So you see the textbooks that are required for the classes. Also, you can take these classes as you need, as you're interested. You don't necessarily have to complete the certificate. You could take a class as needed to satisfy any curiosity or any knowledge that you would like to increase, or you can go for an entire certificate program. So let's go on to what these certificate programs are. Oh, excuse me. Let's talk about the courses that are going to be offered January 17th to March 28th. So that means this coming Monday. So there's time to register now to start taking your classes. So Lisa, I think we said you were going to talk about this?
Yep,
Yeah,
sounds good.
great.
Awesome. So basically what you have in front of you is your course options for this term. Things to know about these course options is the first two courses are self-paced. So while all of the classes are 10 weeks, the 101 Introduction to Construction Estimating and 9102 Essential Construction Math, you get to determine not only how often you log in throughout the week, but what weeks you log in, and maybe you don't log in another week. So there's a lot more flexibility in those two classes. The remainder of the classes listed are paced. There's work due each week, but you have flexibility when you turn that work in. So what we recommend to students is set aside about 3 to 5 hours a week, 30 minutes on your lunch, or 30 minutes on a rough break. Just check in, log in, see who's posted, see what the new ideas that are popping on the discussion board. And then when you get home, maybe you're inspired now because of the stuff that went on at work or things that you read online, and now you're ready. You're ready to respond. So again, you have the flexibility to determine when you respond, but work is due each week by Sunday at midnight. So that, 11:59 p.m. on Sunday, Pacific time is when things are due. So on this slide, Karen posted two links, one to our online demo tour and the other to the instructor gallery. So at Construction Experts, we're really proud that we have completely updated our learning management system so that it is much more fluid, modern, and easier to navigate. So there's a nice introduction to the online classroom. When you log in, you'll get access to your orientation module, which shows you all the bells and whistles of the classes. That's also explained when you go to constructionclasses.com, and on that homepage, you just scroll down and click that demo tour, and you'll get a feel for how the classes run. Also, really great, wonderful resources, that instructor gallery page. I know that going through college classes, I always wanted to see who my teachers were and the credentials that they have to teach. We are very, very excited to bring in some new teachers this term who are very qualified, as is our longer term teachers. Everybody who is a teacher for Construction Experts and San Francisco State has at least 8 to 10 years of experience in the field. And several of our instructors are continuing to pursue their education, so they know what it's like to be a student. But overall, the instructors are very much in your corner, and oh so much more when you reach out to them and communicate to them through the class message system. So there's a lot of options for you depending on your career path, what you want to learn, and what your time schedule looks like. So basically the way that these courses work is it's up to you to make sure that you're ready for the classes. For example, the 105 Estimating and Bidding 1, you really need to make sure you know how to read plans, because if you go into estimating without knowing how to read plans, you're in a rock and a hard place. So just knowing that, take a good look at the classes that are offered and feel out what's right for you.
And Lisa, as well as Afitap Bose, our program coordinator, and myself are able to answer your questions. And if it's something that is far too technical for Afitap and I, we may refer you to Lisa. And these are the courses that are going to be offered in later in the spring semester, beginning in April to June 19th.
Yeah, so compared to the previous slide, you're going to notice some different classes are offered in the spring term than they are in the winter term, like risk management and problem solving. That class is offered every other term. Construction productivity, cost management, that's also offered every other term, as is practical applications of construction law. So if you're interested in construction project management, knowing the law is important. Just word to the wise, if law is very much of a foreign language, we highly recommend signing up for a class that's offered this term, which is the 9204 contract documents in construction law. You take that one first, it's going to be a lot easier when you get into that class. While the instructor is amazing and really helpful and really great at providing examples, knowing a little bit more about the law beforehand is certainly a benefit.
Great. Let me. So what Lisa's going to do now is talk about the 4 different certificate programs that are available through the College of Extended Learning at San Francisco State University: construction estimating, construction project management, construction supervision, and construction practices. So I think the next slide talks about construction practices. So
yeah. So with this certificate, as I was explaining to some of you earlier, you've got a lot of flexibility in your career paths with this particular certificate. There's a nice focus on estimating because part of construction is understanding the logic and the numbers of how things are built. But in addition to that, there's a focus on supervisory skills, being able to read, understand, and manage a schedule, and being able to plan for the job. So with my current knowledge in construction, I know for a fact that schedules change, and knowing how that change in schedule is going to impact the job makes you a very valuable person on the job to be able to handle the conflict, the change, the chaos that comes with scheduling. So that class is a really great one to take, as is the estimating classes. A critical class to, I would say, everyone's career in construction is being able to read and understand plans. The nice thing about our construction blueprint reading class is that it covers commercial and residential. So you'll be very well versed in all the plans when you go out into the field, and you can practice the skills that you learn online the same day or the following day. And that goes for all the classes. So for construction estimating, it's a field that's always growing. It always needs new people. And we've got some really great opportunities for career growth in construction estimating. It's one of our most popular certificates that's pursued because honestly, the demand is there. So while the industry is focused on growing and using digital plans, what these classes will do for you is give you the nuts and bolts to understand the numbers, how they apply, the divisions, CSI division numbers, and how to basically organize it all, put it on a spreadsheet, not only so that you can understand it, but that you can pass it on to your boss, the project manager, every other person that's on the job that needs to understand the numbers, and they can understand it too. Our estimators that teach these classes have been in the field for over 20 years, and they have seen a lot, they know a lot, and they're ready to pass on their knowledge to you. This is a great certificate program and definitely one worth pursuing. So for the construction project management certificate, folks who have experience in construction are kind of looking, especially if they like that bigger picture of things. And this really does a great job of giving you the skills and the tools and the practices that you need to be successful. So you'll see that, for example, planning and scheduling was also offered for that construction practices certificate. And that's on purpose. So these certificates are stackable. When you get one, you can provide the classes to the next one. So it's really helpful. Once you get started, once you see how that knowledge is helping your career trajectory, keep going, because honestly, the more information, the more valuable you are. You'll see that there are some electives, risk management, something that a lot of folks need some support with, because when problems happen, usually it's the most experienced guy. And if he's good or if she's great, she'll share that kind of logic that goes with that. But maybe that doesn't happen all the time. So this class really dives into the nuts and bolts of being able to manage risk and solve problems on the job site. Another elective there is construction productivity and cost management. Same thing, when you're looking at your productivity numbers, those really drive what happens next in the job site, and what either wins you money or loses you money. So keep in mind that these classes have been selected by career professionals, and we know what it takes to manage a project, and we know that these are the classes that are really going to help you out in the long run. So with the construction supervision certificate, this was a big joy to put together. We work with the AGC curricula for the STP courses. And for those of you who don't know anything about that, it's the supervisory training program. And we were given basically the freedom to put these classes online and to be able to deliver the content that a lot of folks have to get only in person. And what we found is that when you're in class with people, not only from the Bay Area, but also from Washington and from New York and Texas and Oklahoma and Iowa, the conversations get deep and interesting, and we get to see what matters across the board and what's different across the board. So we've really had a lot of great success come out of these classes, especially when you put into these classes. And any one of the instructors will tell you, you get more out of it when you put more into it. So the classes that are here, like I said, correspond to the supervisory training program curriculum. And it's good. It's really good. It's applicable. These are classes that supervisors really do need because they're out there every day. They're shouldering the burden of managing the folks on the job, of being able to have to manage the schedule, the cost, and the people. And you have a more intimate knowledge of what's going on the job site than the project manager. So when you look at the classes, the nice thing is you get to choose where you start and where you end. What we've done for the emphasis classes is integrated some of the classes found in the construction project management certificate. So those classes can, again, transfer stackable certificates from one to the other. So when you find yourself in the zone and you want to keep going, go for it.
Okay, so I'm going to get started from here. And of course, my image was frozen. Sorry about that. We live in the time of Zoom and the internet, and it freezes often. So it's so easy. It really is easy to become a student at San Francisco State University. You just click on the cel.sfsu.edu, register and quick admit, and you're able to get your San Francisco State University ID and a password. And from that, you'll be able to register for classes. Once you register for a class, which is just simply clicking on the class you want, and it says, would you like to register? Once you do that, you pay for the class, and you'll receive an email with login information. Sorry, I've just seen a typo. From your faculty at Construction Experts Inc. And we say in the slide this is usually a 24-hour turnaround, but that relies a lot on me, and so more like a couple days, give us a couple days to turn this around, but we try to do it as quickly as possible, and we'll definitely be sending out information tomorrow and definitely on Monday before the classes begin. There's no prerequisite classes. However, there are the two entry level classes for the construction practices that Lisa talked about. But make sure you read the full course description for each of the classes with the learning objections and some objectives and objectives and prerequisite knowledge, just to assess where you are and how you should begin taking classes. So that is easy peasy. And if you have any difficulty, again, you can contact me, knv@sfsu.edu, which will be at the end of the slideshow, or Afitap Bose, and we can help you through that process. One important thing I wanted to say, excuse me, before I move on, is that we are now requiring that all students who register for classes have proof of either their COVID vaccination or their exemption. Whether you take online classes or in-person classes. And that's because, we've got this quick admit. You become a San Francisco State University student with just getting that ID and password, which means that you have access to campus if you're here, and all of our facilities. We don't say just because you're an online student that you're limited to just being online. You are a full university student, and all of our students must have proof of vaccination or exemption status noted. So you'll see that as you register, and we're going to require that all students also provide proof of booster, but that won't be until the end of February. So I'm mentioning this now, even though it'll be much later in your process, and I'm mentioning it now in the hopes that it'll be, in your brain that you need to do this, and that's the certificate of completion request. Once you finish all of the classes in your particular certificate program, you don't automatically get a certificate. You have to tell us that you want the certificate, and once you tell us what you want, we also ask that you make sure that you tell us the name that you want on your certificate. Sometimes we go through life changes. As I was telling Lisa, I go by three names: Karen Nelson Villanueva, because some of my certifications were before marriage, Karen Nelson, and some of them were after, Villanueva. So by using all three of my names, I have this record of everything that I've done. So we ask that you do that. Also, we want to make sure that we have your most up-to-date email address. You get an email address when you become a San Francisco State University student, but we also want your personal email address. And as you know, these things frequently change. So we want the most updated information so we can send your certificate there. Also, we want you to indicate what certificate it is that you're going for, because as Lisa mentioned, these are stackable, which means that we need to know precisely what is the certificate you want at this time, and then just hit submit. So this is the end of our presentation. This is the contact information. I am the program lead for this and other professional development programs at San Francisco State College of Extended Learning. And the best way to contact me is through email at knv@sfsu.edu. We also have a program coordinator, Afitat Bose, who works with building these classes and making sure everything goes smoothly. And you can access Afitat at abose@sfsu.edu. And we have our liaison, Lisa Thibodeau at Construction Experts Inc., who is an expert on the Construction Experts classes. What I've also included on this slide is a couple of links that uh, Lisa and I thought were pretty valuable. We've got our frequently asked questions, and Lisa's made some YouTube videos. Do you want to talk about that, Lisa?
Sure. When you're on constructionclasses.com, there are several pages that have more information given via video. So why register for these classes is the one I recommended to Karen as an example for you guys, just to click on and learn about more like our approach, how we do our classes, and why these classes are worth taking and pursuing for your industry education.
Okay, so Ronaldo asked a question. Is it possible to send a link to this recording to review later? And yes, Ronaldo, we're going to actually place this on our website for the construction classes. And let me post that in the chat. And that is cel.sfsu.edu/construction. I think, you know what, let me make double sure.
So at this time, does anyone else have other questions? You can, Karen, can they speak out loud, or should they just put it in the Q&A box?
Yeah, they can either put it in Q&A or in the chat.
Okay.
Well, we must have done a terrific job if there's no questions. So everyone feels like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to go to that. So everyone feels like they're able to register for classes. You have no question about the registration process, or what class is most appropriate for where you are at your skill level, where you begin, what you're interested in.
It's also a great time and opportunity to ask about payment and things like that.
Okay, what website do I register for San Francisco State University? So that's a question from Stephanie. And so Stephanie, you want to begin right here at cel.sfsu.edu/register/quick admit. And that's where you can get your San Francisco State University ID and your password, and you set up your San Francisco State University email, and then you can register for classes after that. You're welcome, Stephanie. And it's Leo asks, payment costs for construction project management. So the cost is $576 per class, and so it depends on the program, which will be the number of classes. Oh, and Lisa put in the link for the construction classes and for the registration process. Thank you, Lisa. And so Leo also asked, how do you make up classes if you happen to go on vacation? That's an interesting class or
And it's
question.
one we get every single term. So basically, with these classes being online, they're available everywhere that there's reliable internet. And with a lot of us having hotspots on cell phones, it expands your opportunities to be connected to your learning. That being said, it is best and most wise to communicate with your instructor from the get-go. Whether you have questions about the class or you want to let them know, week 7, my wife's having a baby or something else is happening. I need to communicate this right away. When the instructor knows that you're communicating, all of a sudden the doors are much more open as far as being able to accept late work and working with us. So you've got some flexibility, but it's mainly on you to get that communication started with your instructor.
As a person who's taught for many years, I completely agree with that. The more open you are with your faculty, the more opportunities really come your way, and they're just humans too. So pretty much they understand. So it's just important to have those lines of communication and to let your faculty know as soon as you can.
And Karen, the cost per class?
$576. You want me to go back to that slide?
Oh, that would be, yeah, that would also kind of solidify it for Mr. Reyes. And then Leo, after you
Oh my
complete your
goodness.
registration, you're going to want to check out that textbook link to see what books are required, because you'll
Yeah.
be purchasing those separately.
So sorry, that was way back there. The at the beginning of our presentation. So $576 per class, about 100 to $150 for textbooks per class, and all the classes are online, and they're 10 weeks long. And our only requirement is that you complete the courses within 3 years. And when I say complete the courses, I mean successfully complete it with a passing grade to receive your certificate. And Lisa again has popped the textbook information in the chat. And so Ronaldo asks, is there some sort of company, San Francisco State University venture, where employers can subsidize a program? Now, we have a subsidy office that works with you if you have an employer that will pay for your courses, but we don't have a partnership with any particular organization that will necessarily pay for things. Um, there is workforce development. WIOA, workforce, it stands for something, where they subsidize some trainings for people in some of the professional fields. If you look at the cel.sfsu.edu website and you select payment, it kind of goes over some of these financial options, third-party options that you can look into for your state or county that may offer training and job placement.
Karen, do you know the link that provides that information?
Uh, you know, not without, let's see.
For Mr. Perez. And
Let's
also,
see.
Mr. Perez, the other thing to keep in mind too is that many companies have a budget for professional development, and these classes most definitely fit within that budget. That's how we get many students taking our classes, is because the person like yourself would say, hey, I attended this information session. It sounds like it would be really good for the company to pay for my education via San Francisco State College of Extended Learning. Here's the syllabi, here's the cost, and then it goes through accounting and you get taken care of. So just keep that in mind too.
Yeah, this is The only way I can look at the web page is if I stop my sharing my screen.
Okay.
So anyway, I do want to say, oh, great. Thanks, Ronaldo. I appreciate that you can do that. And Juliana, thank you so much for coming today. And I don't want to belabor this, but are there any further questions, or does anybody feel like they want to talk to us more offline? You can definitely email us. Uh, Let me go back to the questions page, which is all the way at the end, that has our contact information. Next time we'll put our contact information at the beginning.
Okay,
Oh, thank you.
so Stephanie, you're asking a really good question about the books. Will they arrive on time before Monday? So here's some more information for you. Our teachers have been working with students waiting for textbooks for 20 years. And we're very used to that process. So our instructors, as I mentioned, they really care. They're not doing this for any other reason than to give back and give to you and make sure that you can get to where you want to go. So that being said, again, it's send a message to your instructor, excited to join the class, ordered my textbook, still waiting. Any help you can provide would be wonderful. Know this, on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, there's going to be a lot of students that are coming into the doors without textbooks. We are very, very used to this situation, and we embrace the students and support the students in the meantime. So just keep that in mind. You're going to be supported while you're waiting for your textbook.
Wonderful. And with Amazon Prime, you can get things on Sunday.
Goodness.
Yeah. Great. I'm glad that satisfied you, Stephanie. Anything else? Any other questions? Well, if not, I want to thank you all for your time, making yourselves available on a Thursday evening after a long, hard day of work. We really appreciate it. I really appreciate my partner in crime, Lisa Thibodeau, who is just an excellent provider of this construction professional education for all of you, and just a delight to work with. If you have any questions, again, please feel free to contact us, and we'd be delighted to answer you and give you all the assistance that we can. So thank you so much to everyone. And have a great rest of your evening.
We'll see you online.
See you online. Bye, all.
Bye-bye.